Alright guys, the infamous Disney Channel hijacking incident.
Tell me if this has ever happened to you before. You are sitting down watching TV and are watching the show that is expected to be airing, when suddenly, the content stops and changes to something completely unexpected. Either a mysterious message, an
No, I can't say this has happened to me, guys.
audio recording,
I've seen a documentary of this happening, like this dude that they're showing right now, but I'm not sure if this is the same situation, guys. I think they hijacked like a news station or something.
or something that appears to be flat out strange. Chances are you've never experienced this phenomenon in real time before, but there's a good chance
Never.
you've at least heard
Good chances, right? You know, it's. I stopped watching TV when I got my laptop, guys,
about it happening
and I start like when I moved. I never had the box in my room, like the cable TV box after like 2013 or something.
before. When the broadcast signals of TV or cable stations are tapped into by another party without permission, this is called a broadcast signal intrusion or a signal hijack.
Straight up hacked, bro. Call it hacking, bro. Right, guys? They were hacked.
And throughout the history of television, there have been many documented cases of parties interrupting broadcast signals to display cryptic messages or simply to mess with the viewing audience. One of the most famous instances of this occurring are the Max Headroom hijackings from
Yeah, that's the most famous one I know about.
November 1987, where an unidentified man wearing a mask of the character Max Headroom
Guys, what would you do if you saw this happening, guys? Let me know in the comments below.
made a few remarks before participating in a suggestive scene with a woman wearing a maid costume.
Whoa.
This
Man, he planned it out, man.
happened twice in the same night on two TV stations in Chicago, Illinois.
Dang, this guy's a freaking pretty advanced hacker then, right? Prankster.
And to this day, no one involved with the incident has been identified.
Dang, bro. And he got away with it too, man.
There was
What
another,
the heck?
less offensive occurrence a year prior, when someone named Captain Midnight interrupted HBO's satellite signal feed with a message to show his frustration with HBO's service rates and how it was hurting his business of selling satellite dishes.
Damn, bro. It's someone inside the industry that's doing it then.
This time, however, the person behind it was caught after another man heard him bragging about the incident.
Oh man. He snitched on himself basically, guys.
Needless to say,
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, it was a lot less offensive though, you know what I mean?
the intentions and content range quite a bit when it
He straight up was like, yo, you did that.
comes to broadcast intrusions. But there was one time when it happened that has become quite infamous over the years for how inappropriate the content that was shown really was, and also has not been recovered,
Alright guys, he's hyping it up in a good way, guys.
making it a piece of lost media too. The story begins on a channel that you might think would be the last place for a signal hijacking to occur, and that's Disney Channel. And compared to the previous examples of news stations and subscription services being targeted, the amount of people watching Disney Channel who would be privy to these acts is far fewer, and interrupting cartoons or sitcoms for kids doesn't really seem like it's worth the effort.
I much preferred the cartoons, guys. Way much more than the sitcoms that were airing on Disney. I watched Disney quite a bit, but I didn't really watch those sitcoms. When they started playing the sitcoms, I was like, yo, let me just change the channel real quick, bro. And I think they caught on, don't they? Actually, no, Cartoon Network is the one that plays mostly cartoons, but I don't know what Disney Channel be playing nowadays, guys.
But perhaps it's in this fact that would make it the perfect place to cause some
Hannah Montana.
havoc, and show something that its viewers purposely wouldn't understand, but that would cause anger with their parents, especially since we're not just talking about Disney Channel, but more specifically, the Playhouse Disney block. This is a programming block with content that's made for younger kids, and is
Oh snap, so like the early morning block probably.
often the kind of thing a parent would leave on for their kid
Damn, they need their own dedicated channel for that, bro. Come on, man. I'm trying to watch Disney at like 6 a.m. or whatever, you know what I mean?
to watch, knowing it's safe and intended for them, versus for the channel.
Oh no, what the heck?
If you happen to be watching Playhouse Disney, on the morning of May 2nd, 2007, the show that was intended to air uninterrupted was Handy Manny. It's a CGI cartoon about a handyman and his talking tools that
At least it's an animated show. I do like animated shows.
own a repair shop and go around town helping
You know, it's something we can't really, live because we're not 3D animation.
people fix their broken stuff. The series had only premiered a year prior, so the show was relatively new and still in its prime. But viewers of the show would be seeing something unexpected. At around 9:30 a.m. during the beginning
Damn, bro, he's got some like scary, creepy background music, guys, and I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. It sets the mood. It sets the mood.
of Handy Manny, the feed was suddenly interrupted, and in its place was a hardcore adult film. While there are no reports
What the heck,
on how long the interruption
guys? How do I not? How am I just finding about this now, man?
lasted, the claims range from less than a minute to several minutes. It just showed up with no warning, and as mentioned previously, spread around news outlets almost immediately. It was confirmed through these reports that the hijacking was isolated to the Middletown, New Jersey area, more specifically, Lincroft, so it wasn't a nationwide incident.
Oh snap! That's why we didn't hear about it, guys.
Though one parent from the area named Paul was very vocal about what was shown. It was two people doing their thing. It was full on and it was disgusting. I try to protect my kids from a lot of things.
Dang, bro. They're trying to have them watch the shows that they probably should watch. You know what I mean?
But I wouldn't have thought Disney
And then this happens, guys. Like, come on now.
would become one of them. My son was extremely upset because he thought he'd done something wrong, and we're hoping what he saw doesn't become an issue for him. After the damage had already been done, the question became for parents like Paul and Disney, how did this happen?
It's black hat hackers, right, guys?
Despite what Paul mentioned in his interview, that he can't believe Disney is something they have to protect their son from, Disney was not the company to blame for this. Comcast admitted that they were responsible for the error. It happened at one of their local facilities and was described as an isolated issue by spokesperson Fred DeAndrea. He didn't
What do you mean they know about it? What?
provide any details on how long the hijacking lasted
Dang, bro. Somebody said, hey, I'm just gonna hijack the Disney Channel real quick.
or how many homes may have seen it, but it must have been a lot for so many news articles to have picked up the story. Disney and the State Board of Public Utilities
Feels like it's a psyop or something, guys.
did end up reaching out to Comcast afterwards and asked them to take appropriate measures to make sure such an occurrence doesn't happen again. This was reconfirmed in a statement from Disney stating, Comcast has taken full responsibility for this situation, and we understand that they are currently working to determine the root cause of the incident. Comcast ended up reaching out to Paul personally and apologizing, following an investigation into the cause of this. But unfortunately, they never reported their findings publicly, so it's not known if anyone was caught or got in trouble for it.
It's kind of a sick thing to do, man. Come on, dude. It's children's programming.
Over the years, there's been quite a bit of debate online surrounding how this happened or who could have
What if it's like an inside operations or something, guys? You know what I mean?
done it, with some theories pointing towards the likelihood that signals had accidentally been switched or it ended up airing on TV by accident.
Yeah, it feels like it could be like an accident somehow, but I don't know how. Like, they do have the channels like that, so it might have been like a switch up for a second. But is there like somebody monitoring at all times? Because why does it happen for only a few minutes, right, guys?
But these
Is there someone like watching all the shows at once? Because that'd be a cool job. You could just like chill on your phone, glance back at the show, television every few seconds, and make sure you're, it's showing the right stuff.
These instances seem fairly unlikely. Believe it or not, hijacking broadcast signals to show adult content has been a pretty frequent occurrence over the years. Several years later, in 2012, Disney was targeted again when 6 minutes of a hardcore adult movie were shown during Lilo and Stitch on Disney Junior, the successor to Playhouse Disney. Earlier than that, in March 2010, Time Warner Cable's transmissions of kids and preschool kids content
Hey man, it's like a group is trying to do this all the time, man.
was replaced with Playboy TV for 2 hours.
2 hours? What?
But perhaps the most relevant example related to the Handy Manny incident happened only 2 years after in a very similar way. This story also made headlines back in 2009 because it happened during one of the most viewed television events here
No way, guys. How come I didn't hear about this?
in the US, the Super Bowl. At another Comcast facility
Guys, I also saw that flashing incident live on the Super Bowl.
in Tucson, Arizona, NBC's signal was replaced with 37 seconds of another adult movie and interrupted the game during the fourth quarter. In this instance, Comcast did claim it was an isolated, malicious act, and 3 days later, a former Cox Cable employee was arrested and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of computer tampering.
No, they got him, guys. Somebody working over there as well, guys. He's trying to hijack the biggest event in the world. They had to, they had to go focus all their research efforts into it, and they got him this time.
And in the case of the Handy Manny interruption, it also seems very likely that this would be the result of a malicious act. Though since the issue has long since been concluded, it's likely that we'll never get an official statement on the results of the investigation. As for the broadcast hijacking itself, the recording of the incident is still lost, but you can find some discussion about it online. There was a thread created on Reddit from March 2022 who was attempting to find someone with a copy, and there's another thread from a day after it happened that discusses the incident as a whole on the Unexplained Mysteries forums. The author, who lives in New Jersey, asks if any of his fellow New Jersey dwellers had been watching Disney Channel at the time
Hey, bro, he's trying to find the footage, I guess.
broadcast, but no one in the thread claims to have seen it. For the sake of preservation and broadcast hijack history, I suppose it's something that has value to some people, but overall, it's nothing nearly as original as Max Headroom or Captain Midnight.
Captain Midnight, and this guy's gonna go down in history, and nobody's gonna know who he is.
I'm not sure how anyone would go about finding it nowadays, but it must have been seen by a lot of viewers to have been reported on so much. But even if a copy
Sure, a decent amount, but not a huge amount, guys. Imagine if it was nationwide. They probably would have investigated it a lot more, right, guys?
of it does resurface, the reason or person behind the incident will remain a mystery and live in the ranks of unsolved television hijackings.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want to get caught either, right, guys?
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out some of my other Lost Media videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Finn.
So I said, man, he got a little bit too handy. Oh, shit. The whole movie unexpectedly popping up during a kid show's equivalent of a kinky fetish ad popping up in the middle of a G-rated mobile game. Does that happen, guys? People who show adult material should be thrown in jail. Well, they did catch the guy who did it on the Super Bowl. So it's a real one. The network gets hacked, especially a kids network. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have a job that can, prevent this happen. Handy Manny? Oh, no, right? Hope whoever did this was caught and put on a sex offender registry. Thanks. Alright guys, that's our video. Check out El Supersonic Q in the description. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I do all my reactions live on Twitch. If you want to come through say hi, you're more than welcome. I'll see you guys next one later.